As someone who lives in Fresno County or in Clovis, we all go for drives, whether it be to a store, work, whatever the case may be. You ever think about when you're driving down the road, you see a lot of homeless people, those you think, man, that man's crazy. He's on drugs, whatever the case may be. It really gets you going to think about how many times these people have been incarcerated and released. And that's what I really want to talk about and get into is the fact that as a whole and as a community, there are more things that we could do. Many people who are out on the streets are addicted to drugs, whether it be alcohol, pills, heroin, meth, cocaine, and some people think like, oh, they threw their lives away, they don't have families and things like that. But as an alcoholic and as an addict myself, we struggle to reach out for help. And it's hard to tell somebody that you're struggling, but we can show them better than we can tell them. Every time I see someone out, it gets my mind thinking, like, what more can we do? As I've been in the same shoes where I was very dependent on drugs and alcohol. I think about the cost of rehabs. You know, detox when you're still under the influence, you go into a detox or a residential and they help you detox from your drug of choice. Some are for a week, a couple weeks to 30 days. And the cost of those rehabs are through the roof. For example, if you have insurance, you could go through a private rehab, and a private rehab, they can bill your insurance, which they would take anything, Cobra, United Healthcare, and even cash. But they're very expensive. So say those who don't have insurance and they pay cash, it all depends on where they go. So I'll use, for example, the rehab that I had went to, and that was My Time Recovery. I, of course, had insurance at the time. So they billed my insurance instead of me paying cash. For those who pay cash, it would cost anywhere from $8K to $10K if staying inpatient, which includes medical detox. You have an RN 24/7 and you're watched completely. They have drug and alcohol counseling in there where you get to meet with somebody every day. They do adventure therapy. They take you out. They kind of show you how to live life in a smaller way. And then with medical care, you think about the cost that goes up. So the 8K to 10K, that could be anywhere from just a week in inpatient. And that's pretty pricey. And it would cost about 8K for an outpatient or a private treatment center for 30 days. And sober living costs anywhere from $550 to $700 a month. And a lot of people can't afford that, even people with insurance. They do go through these rehabs and they want to stay in sober living for that extra safety blanket. It costs money to live there every month. And it's very hard for those who are just getting off the streets and their parents are helping them. So it gets my mind thinking to the homeless people, like some places like Westcare, they take Medi-Cal. So, of course, these homeless people, some of them don't have phones. They don't have access to their internet. It gets me thinking on why, as a county, why we can't help them get access to the internet to at least get Medi-Cal to get them into some type of treatment center. Instead of just releasing them, they're going to go back to the same thing. They're going to find money for drugs, and they're going to get it. A lot of places that you go, doesn't matter what town, you're going to see these people struggling in the streets. And some people will just drive by and don't even think about it twice. but you got to think about what if that's your family member. So I looked into a few things, and I realized that there are foundations that can help with scholarships, and a scholarship is someone who helps pay through either your living or your costs through rehab or detox, something to get you started. But they do have a selective group that they pick, and it all depends on your drug of choice as well as when you go in on how expensive it's going to be. And I think that if we could get people to help out, we could clean the streets up a little bit more. Because sometimes there's a bigger problem that we don't realize, and it's not just because, oh, they don't care about nothing. Because a lot of us do recover, and a lot of us die from it. And one of the foundations that I'm aware of is the Zachary Horton Foundation, which is a friend of mine who had passed away. He was only 19, and it was hard on his parents, but now his parents do fundraisers, they take donations, they do all this stuff to help people who are struggling but can't afford it to get into these programs. And I feel like us as a community could take a bigger step to help those that don't have that family that can reach out to certain people and get them going. But the county itself could also do a little bit more and let us step in as well and help those people really get going to where they need to go. And it's hard to think about, but money is a lot to everybody. But so is the people that are out on the streets that do have families and do have homes, but they're not there because of their illness. So today I just want you to think about what we can do as a whole, including like donations, anything like that, or even start up something to help with those who are just released due to drug addiction or possession in our community, because that's what we have running the streets most of the time, and it's something that we should really look into and really help out, because it's a disease of the mind. It's sometimes people would think, oh, it's a choice, but sometimes we don't have those choices when we're under the influence and we're just going and running from a certain type of pain. So today I would just hope that you would take your time to think about something like that, to be able to help as we help many other organizations. I feel like this one is also a big one that is very overlooked, but that could help so many people and save so many people's lives.